Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into abandoned scorpions.
Oh, yeah.
These 10,000 uniquely generated scorpions,
Ah,
NFTs, they kind of kicked off the whole NFT craze on the Radix network.
for sure, for sure.
It's like stepping into a time capsule.
It really is.
Imagine this community just buzzing with excitement,
Yeah.
trading these scorpions directly before fancy marketplaces even existed.
Yeah, it was
It
fascinating.
was a fascinating time.
The very early days of Radix NFTs, like a Wild West era,
Wow.
where everything was new and the potential just felt limitless.
The potential was just...
Limitless, yeah.
And we've got a treasure trove of information here.
We do.
For you guys listening, chat logs, trading records.
Oh, wow.
We even have some heated
There are.
community debates.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to get a front row seat to witness how this all began.
And what's so interesting is that they represent a time before things became standardized.
Okay.
There were no established marketplaces.
Right.
No set rules, just pure, unadulterated enthusiasm for this new technology.
So let's start with that community,
Yeah.
because it sounds like it was incredibly tight-knit
Oh, absolutely. The initial sale
right from the start.
sold out so quickly, it created this sense of scarcity
No?
and exclusivity.
Okay.
And that alone fostered this strong feeling of camaraderie.
Okay, so it was more than
Well,
just
the owners.
that initial scarcity.
But there's more to it than just that.
Okay, so what else
Initial scarcity.
was happening that helped this community take root and grow?
Well, they had some very clever initiatives.
Like what?
Remember that validator airdrop where anyone staking Radix had a chance to win a scorpion?
Oh, wow.
That was huge for early adoption.
To incentivize people to
It wasn't just about buying in. It was
Yeah.
about actively participating in the network.
get involved on a deeper level
Exactly.
than just buying and selling.
And then there's the Scorp bot,
Yeah.
which tracked things like real-time stats, milestones, and even ownership changes.
Oh, wow.
So it was like this shared dashboard that everyone in the community...
It's like they were publicly tracking their collective success
Yeah,
in real time.
which I think added to the feeling of being on this
That's pretty neat.
exciting journey together.
But let's talk about the stars of the show,
Yes.
the scorpions themselves.
The scorpions.
I understand these scorpions weren't all created equal.
Right.
Tell me about these attributes that make certain ones stand out.
The scorpion traits,
Yeah.
it's not just that they're scorpions.
Right.
It's the little details that make all the difference.
Yeah.
Some have halos, others rock a baller look.
Okay.
Some even have a drug lord vibe.
Drug lord scorpion?
Yeah,
That's something I never thought I'd hear.
it's amazing.
But seriously, this focus on rarity
Yeah,
must have added another layer to the community's fascination.
absolutely. And it wasn't always straightforward.
Okay.
There were fierce debates about what constituted, for example, a true mono, meaning a scorpion with a single consistent color.
So even the language used to describe these traits
Exactly.
started to evolve
Yeah,
within the community.
absolutely.
That's a hallmark of a truly passionate fan base.
You're absolutely right.
Wow.
They even had terms like pseudomono
Okay.
to describe scorpions that looked almost like monos,
Wow.
but didn't technically meet the strict criteria.
So they had to come up with...
And all of this, of course,
Mhm.
affected how people valued the different scorpions.
Right.
Certain attributes became incredibly sought after, and prices started reflecting that.
Like, give me an example.
Like, take scorpion, hashtag 8166,
Okay.
which has been listed for a whopping 10,000 XRD.
Now, wait a minute.
Yeah.
For those of us not steeped in Radix terminology,
Yeah.
what exactly is XRD?
Ah, good point.
Yeah.
XRD is the native cryptocurrency of the Radix network.
Okay.
Kind of like how Bitcoin is to the Bitcoin network.
Got it.
So saying a scorpion was listed for 10,000 XRD is like saying it had a price tag of 10,000 Bitcoin,
So 10,000 XRD.
which is a pretty significant amount.
That's not chump change.
Now.
It really shows you how much value people are placing on these scorpions.
Absolutely.
But let's not forget, at this point, we're still in the Wild West phase.
Right.
There are no established marketplaces.
Right?
How are people actually trading these things?
It was all done through direct trades.
Wow.
Based on trust and reputation within the community.
Okay.
You'd see people negotiating deals in chat rooms,
That's
often based on a handshake and a promise.
both exhilarating and a little bit nerve-wracking.
It definitely added a layer of complexity, but it also fostered a strong sense of community.
Yeah.
People had to rely on each other
Right.
and build relationships in order to trade effectively.
And as the community grew, so did the need for a way to track the value of these scorpions.
Exactly.
This is where the concept of floor price comes in.
Yes.
Okay, tell me more about this floor price. What does that even mean in this context?
Well, in simple terms, the floor price is the lowest price at which a scorpion
Okay,
is currently being offered for sale.
got it.
It gives you a sense of the minimum value
Okay,
the market has placed on these NFTs.
so imagine you're part of this community.
It's an important metric
Yeah.
because it can fluctuate wildly, especially in the early days.
Eagerly watching the floor price as it jumps around.
Yeah.
You see it start to climb.
Yes.
And suddenly, boom, it reaches a new milestone. They hit 1,000 unique scorpion holders.
That's exactly the kind of moment that sent shockwaves through the community.
Wow.
Reaching 1,000 unique holders signaled that this wasn't just a fad.
Right.
It was gaining real momentum.
It must have been a wild ride.
And naturally, the perceived value of the scorpions shot up along with it.
For those early adopters, we've even got some juicy stories about specific trades, right?
Oh, absolutely. We've got records of Scorpion #3254 selling for a cool 8,500 XRD.
Wow.
And there's a big debate about a Siggy Scorpion potentially being worth 11,000 XRD or even more. We even have a record of someone trading a Floop NFT.
Okay.
That's from a completely different project in exchange for a Scorpion.
That's amazing. It was like the Wild West of NFTs.
Yeah.
With bartering and high-stakes deals happening left and right. You can really feel the energy and passion through these stories, but there's something even more fascinating emerging from all of this.
Yeah.
A culture, a way of life.
Yeah.
ScropLyfe.
ScropLyfe is where things get really interesting.
Oh.
Owning a Scorpion wasn't just about having a cool digital collectible. It
Right.
was about being part of something bigger.
So ScropLyfe wasn't just a word.
It was a badge of honor, a shared identity.
It was a whole movement.
Precisely. It was a way of life, a philosophy almost.
Oh.
People were incorporating ScropLyfe into their messages,
Oh,
their
so-
usernames, even their online bios.
It's like they were forming their own tribe, united by these pixelated arachnids. They had their own language, their own rituals, their own sense of belonging, and every tribe needs a leader, right?
You're leading us perfectly into the next chapter of our deep dive, because at the heart of this ScropLyfe movement was a particularly influential figure, Safari Till Early.
Ooh, tell me more about this Safari.
Yeah.
What made them such a key player in the Scorpion universe?
He was a true embodiment of ScropLyfe, a
Okay.
prominent community figure,
Yeah.
known for their active trading, generous giveaways, and just infectious enthusiasm for all things Scorpion.
I bet they had some amazing stories from those early trading days.
Oh, yeah.
Do we have any examples of their legendary trades?
We do.
Okay.
One particularly memorable one involved Scorpion, #417,
Okay.
a rare baller scorpion that they acquired for a fraction of its current value.
Wow.
This trade showcased not only their sharp eye for value, but also their deep understanding of the emerging scorpion market.
Talk about being ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
It sounds like Safari had a knack for spotting potential and wasn't afraid to take risks, but it wasn't just about personal gain for them, right?
Right. Safari was incredibly generous,
Mm-hmm.
often giving away scorpions to new members of the community or to those who were struggling to acquire one. There's one quote that perfectly captures their spirit. "Diamond hands is for Shanso," which essentially meant holding on to your scorpions for the long haul, believing in their potential, and sharing that belief with others.
They really seem to embody that community over everything ethos. And they are also instrumental in promoting other Radix NFT projects like CMON.
Absolutely. They were a tireless advocate for the Radix NFT ecosystem as a whole.
Okay.
They even tossed around ideas for a CMON game,
Oh, wow.
showcasing their entrepreneurial spirit and their desire to see the community flourish.
So we've got this tight-knit community passionate about their scorpions, rallying behind figures like Safari and exploring new projects like CMO.
Yeah.
All of this is happening before the Babylon upgrade, right? This major upgrade that everyone was so excited about.
Yes, Babylon was a pivotal moment for Radix, bringing with it a whole host of technological advancements and the promise of true NFT functionality. People were speculating about scorpions becoming more than just static images.
Right.
Imagine them being integrated into games or used to unlock exclusive experiences.
It sounds like there was a ton of anticipation leading up to Babylon.
Yeah.
It must have felt like they were on the verge of a new era for scorpions.
You're spot on, but as we know, things don't always go exactly as planned. While the Babylon upgrade did usher in a new era for Radix and its NFTs, the landscape had shifted in the meantime. The focus had started to move away from direct trades and tight-knit communities towards a more standardized, marketplace-driven approach.
Having explored those vibrant early days, let's fast forward to the present and see how the abandoned scorpions landscape has evolved. Did those grand visions of scorpions having all this amazing functionality ever come to fruition?
Well, that's where things get a little complicated. While the Babylon upgrade did introduce new possibilities for NFTs on Radix, the reality is that scorpions haven't quite lived up to that initial hype in terms of becoming dynamic, interactive assets.
So those dreams of scorpions being used in games or unlocking exclusive content, those haven't materialized.
Not yet, at least now, before you think this is a story of dashed hopes and dreams.
Right.
Let's remember that the NFT space is still incredibly young.
That's a good point.
What might seem like a missed opportunity today could be the catalyst for innovation tomorrow.
But what about the community? Are they still as engaged and passionate about their scorpions as they were back in the ScropLyfe heyday?
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
The core ScropLyfe spirit is still alive, but it's definitely evolved along with the market.
In what way?
Well, with the emergence of platforms like RadStrike and RareChest,
Okay.
the way people trade scorpions has become more streamlined and efficient.
Got-
These platforms provide a level of security and ease that simply didn't exist in the early days of direct trades.
So no more handshake deals happening in chat rooms.
Exactly. And remember, Safari Till Early, our community leader,
Yeah.
they've adapted to these new platforms as well, showing that even the pioneers of ScropLyfe can embrace change.
That's actually quite reassuring. It shows a willingness to evolve with the times.
Yeah.
But this shift towards marketplaces, has it had any impact on the sense of community?
That's a great question, and the answer is nuanced.
Okay.
On one hand, the community has undeniably grown with these new platforms. It's easier than ever for people to buy, sell, and learn about scorpions. But on the other hand, that influx of new members has changed the dynamic.
How so?
The focus has shifted somewhat from that shared ScropLyfe experience to a more individualistic approach to trading and collecting.
So less about the camaraderie and shared passion, more about individual investment strategies.
That's a fair assessment. You can see this reflected in the language used in trading channels. It's less about diamond hands and more about floor price, rarity rankings, and sniping deals.
It sounds like a classic case of a niche community going mainstream, for better or worse. What about the value of scorpions? Has that been affected?
It's a mixed bag, really. On one hand, the floor price has stabilized, hovering around 900, 1,000 XRD for quite some time. On the other hand, those astronomical figures that some predicted,
Right.
where scorpions would be worth tens of thousands of XRD, those haven't materialized.
Is that necessarily a bad thing? Could this stabilization be seen as a sign of a maturing market?
It's certainly a valid perspective. The market has become more rational, with buyers becoming more discerning, and while the raw enthusiasm of the early days may have cooled slightly, there are still glimmers of that ScropLyfe magic.
I'm all ears for some ScropLyfe magic. Tell me more.
Well, for example, we recently saw someone offer to sell their scorpion for 10,000 CMON tokens.
Wow.
That's a direct nod to that early community spirit, to the shared history of these projects, and to figures like Safari Till Early, who championed both.
It's a heartwarming reminder that even as the market evolves, the sentimental value and the shared memories haven't disappeared. But it also makes me wonder, what does the future hold for abandoned scorpions? Do you think they'll ever achieve that level of utility that was envisioned post-Babylon?
That's the million XRD question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's certainly possible. The technology is constantly evolving, and the Radix team is always working on new innovations. Perhaps the next upgrade will be the one that unlocks the true potential of scorpions and reignites that early excitement.
It's exciting to think about, but even if they remain as they are, they've left an undeniable mark on the Radix NFT landscape.
I completely agree. They were the pioneers, the trailblazers who proved that NFTs could be more than just digital collectibles.
Wow.
They fostered a community, sparked innovation, and ultimately helped shape the direction of the entire ecosystem.
It's like they were the seeds that helped the vibrant garden grow. Now, whether those seeds become towering trees or remain as beautiful, yet dormant flowers, that's a question for the future. But for now, let's take a moment to appreciate the journey we've taken from those Wild West trading days to the more mature market we see today.
A journey filled with passionate debates about true monosway, the infectious enthusiasm of figures like Safari Till Early, and the enduring allure of these pixelated arachnids.
It's been quite a ride, and before we dive into the final part of our deep dive, I want to hear from you, the listener. What stood out to you the most about this story? What resonates with you is the sense of community, the thrill of those early trades, or the enduring appeal of the art itself. Take a moment to reflect on that, because we'll be back in a flash to wrap things up and offer some final thoughts. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've covered a lot of ground from the birth of ScropLyfe to the evolution of the abandoned scorpions market. Now let's step back and consider what it all means.
Yeah, I think one of the key takeaways here is that abandoned scorpions, they provide a fascinating case study of how communities form around these shared passions
Right.
in the digital age.
Yeah.
We saw how this community adapted to change, embraced new technologies, and ultimately influenced the direction of the whole Radix NFT ecosystem.
It really highlights how quickly things can evolve in the world of NFTs. We went from handshake deals in chat rooms to sophisticated marketplaces in what feels like a blink of an eye.
And it's important to remember that, like any pioneering endeavor, there were missteps along the way.
Yeah.
Those early visions of scorpions having all sorts of utility and functionality haven't fully materialized.
The Babylon upgrade, while a significant milestone for Radix,
Right.
didn't quite deliver on the hype when it came to unlocking the full potential of scorpions.
That's true, but it also speaks to the challenges of innovation. Sometimes expectations outpace reality, and technology takes time to catch up with our dreams.
But even without becoming those dynamic interactive assets, that some envisioned abandoned scorpions have achieved something truly remarkable.
They've become a symbol of Radix's early NFT history, a testament to the power of community, and a reminder that sometimes the most valuable aspects of an NFT extend far beyond its technical capabilities.
It's about the shared experiences, the memories, the sense of belonging that these digital artifacts represent. And let's not forget the artistry.
Yeah.
Those unique scorpion designs with their quirky traits and vibrant colors continue to captivate collectors.
Yeah, there's a certain coolness factor to owning a piece of digital art that was at the forefront of a movement. It's like owning a piece of history.
We've only scratched the surface in this deep dive. There are so many more stories to uncover, from the individual journeys of community members to the evolution of trading dynamics and the emergence of spin-off projects like the ScropLyfe Anthem.
I encourage you to dig deeper, explore those rabbit holes, and draw your own conclusions about the impact and legacy of abandoned scorpions.
And here's a final thought to leave you with. Imagine a world where those early visions of NFT utility do come to fruition. What if those static scorpions could suddenly interact with other digital assets, unlock exclusive experiences, or even become characters in a fully immersive ScropLyfe game?
It's a tantalizing glimpse into a future where NFTs become integral parts of our digital lives, transcending their current limitations and unlocking a whole new realm of possibilities.
And who knows, maybe abandoned scorpions, with their rich history and dedicated community, will be at the forefront of that revolution. That's all the time we have for today's deep dive.
We hope you've enjoyed this journey into the fascinating world of abandoned scorpions.
Remember, this is just the beginning of your exploration. Keep that curiosity burning and go out there and discover the hidden gems of the Radix NFT universe. Until next time, happy exploring.